policy. Their job is to create policy.
Mm-hmm.
My relationship to a politician is the policy that they sign and create. Trump's tweets go into air and they don't affect nobody. They're just tweets. But when they get to signing laws that are targeting my people, we have to live with that shit the rest of our lives.
We've been living with Biden.
Separate the personality from policy.
We've been living with Biden's stuff for 50 years. People, always talk about John Lewis and how much they love John Lewis. But the governor that had John Lewis's ass beaten was George Wallace of Alabama. Who did George Wallace say his favorite person in Congress was? Joe Biden. Now, hey, wait a minute. Good evening. How is it that Joe Biden is the favorite of segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever? This guy loves Joe Biden. And we supposedly venerate John Lewis, his punk ass. And we support the politician that was a favorite of the man that had the police beat and brutalize black folks fighting for voting rights and civil rights.
Yeah.
I have experience watching the stupidity of black people, the ignorance of black folks, the self-hatred of black folks, in particular blacks that have made it. I hope to God that Trump beats this thing. I hope he's there for 4 more years, and I hope we get someone just like him for the next 4. Everything that makes us deal with reality is a good thing. Everything that allows us to run away from our problems is a bad thing. Niggas are the kind of people that want to live in a house with a bunch of smokers who are arsonists with no smoke alarm. Trump is like a big American Tourister-sized smoke alarm that goes off every time a match gets lit, and it makes you aware that there's smoke. We need Trump. We need everything that makes us think. Everything that makes us think.
That's the thing. For a lot of these people who are going around saying black being pro-Trump, no, it's not about being pro-Trump. We're pro-black. And those of us who know black society tend to have a similar mindset because we know black people. And when you know black people, you trust black people. Why do we trust black people? Because we know every single time black Americans have had a clear, identified enemy, and we've done something about it, we've won. Every time we get our ass kicked, every time we've lost, is because we partied having a good time, and we don't see it coming. I'm gonna get back to you. I'm gonna say something my dad said. I remember asking my dad years ago what happened after Dr. King. I asked him this when I was a teenager. I said, Pops, what happened with Dr. Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement? He said in the 70s, he said, we don't realize. In the 70s, Tricky Dick Nixon played the greatest trick he can play on us. Because my dad graduated high school in 1971. He said when we graduated, that was on the heels of Martin Luther King. That was on the heels of the Civil Rights Movement. And Pop said what he did, what the people of his age and his generation, they were too busy partying. Superfly had just come out. The Mac had just come out.
Dolomite.
The 70s music is the greatest era of music in music history.
Dolomite.
So Dolomite, all that stuff that come out. So he was like, we thought we had something going on. We thought we had something going in our favor. And we didn't see the game that they had from us. And it kind of happened throughout the 70s. Things were pretty dormant, pretty quiet. And then in the 80s, boom, crack hit. And we wasn't ready for it. I said all that to say this. The reason why that happened with the crack situation, the reason why black folks got fucked up, because black folks didn't see it coming. We weren't ready for it. We weren't on our square. We weren't paying attention. The reason why we got what we got in the late 50s and through the 60s is because we was on that shit. The only thing we fucked up on in the 60s was we asked for the wrong thing.
We asked for everybody, not just ourselves. You know, if you ask a woman, can you screw me and all my friends? If she said yes, she probably might these days. She had to be really crazy to want to give it to you and all your friends. That's, you know, like when Tupac took the girl back to hotel room because she sucked his dick on the dance floor. And he said, man, she's so crazy she could do all my friends. Then she ended up I'm sorry, these people are calling assholes. That's okay. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, you know. I hear you.
Damn, these people pick. That's what, man. Send me some money, y'all. I got to get me another phone line so I can just have
Dr. Randy Short's Cash App up top. Send him a Cash App for all the work and all the information that he be dropping on us. Please.
Okay.
Please
Now, what I'm saying,
Cash App, if you will.
If you ask for a woman to screw you and all your friends, you're not likely to get it. But if you say, like that song that I think Inez Andrews used to sing, just for me, Lord. If you start giving out blessings, Lord, just one for me. We had just asked for ourselves, just some socioeconomic cooch for the black people, and say what you mean, not for women, not for the crippled gay person with syphilis, but just for black people. Not for the person with the thalidomide, with blue hair, but just us. We seem to have a problem just trying to get some stuff for ourselves. We need to just get our stuff, not care about nobody but us, and if we could do that, in fact, a lot of what it is that black folks don't believe we can win. We don't believe our ancestors, the blacks in the Civil War, who were given guns to shoot at white folks down south, believed they could win. They believed prayer. They didn't have the right shoes. They sometimes were sentenced to suicide, fought the white folk anyway. They fought anyway. Give me a damn gun. Frederick Douglass said, give the black men guns and bullets. We'll win the Civil War. If black people believed, in fact, I always say this, and yes, I curse a lot, and I enjoy it. I'm a Christian.
You don't like it, fuck it.
If you believe in the all-powerful God that helped David kill Goliath, that helped the Israelites destroy the Egyptian army, this same God is able to help black folks crush white supremacy and Negro inferiority because they work together. Most black folks don't believe in an all-powerful God. That's why they go from religion to religion. They're in these dumb fuck religions now, running around being African gods. And the Africans come over here, they want nothing to do with those stupid-ass things that they used to follow. You got niggas running after dead religions. If the Egyptian religion was so effective, don't you think the Egyptians would have kept it? Why is it that we pick everybody else's shit? We throw away our jazz, our blues, our funk, our R&B. We throw our gems in the trash and we run after the shit of other people who hate us. I mean, there's no other dumber fuck group of people than us. The story of Esau in the book of Genesis, where he sells out his birthright to be heir to the Messiah over a fucking bowl of beans. Wasn't even bowl of beans for a week, just one setting. I'm just so into my appetite, whatever I can cram in my mouth to satisfy my cravings for the moment. It's worth betraying my own legacy, my own destiny, my own God, my own people. Black people have an Esau, a pathological Esau complex, and I blame no good, faggot ass, traitor ass, crooked ass black preachers. The most despicable people in our community are nigger preachers. They're the most, I mean, man, I wish I could be dictator of black community, of black America for like 1 week. I'd put most nigger preachers in jail. All of them. I'd round their asses up. I mean, they'd be in Guantanamo somewhere. I mean, until they could prove that they weren't a pedophile, until they could prove, if I send you into a black community, you're going to teach people that Jesus Christ wasn't a white Klansman, that niggas should be slaves, Vita Durante, right? I would pick up, in fact, I pick up some of those church mothers too. Since y'all like giving money to everybody, let's just cancel out, zero out everybody's bank account that likes financing these crooked ass nigger preachers and put that money into creating investment accounts and everything else to clean up our people. Black folks need a dictator, a strong man or woman, or actually strong man. We have too many strong women. We need some supportive, cooperative women. We have a person come in. I would outlaw all the sororities and fraternities. All those things would be disbanded. All their assets would be seized and put in an account. They'd be nationalized for the black people. I would outlaw anyone playing sports if they're a black man, if they couldn't read or write. All children would be DNA tested, so we'd know who the actual fathers are. And we'd be able to document whether a woman with the fat mouth was a whore or not. Okay, start making. In fact, I would make being a tramp, a whore, a misdemeanor. That if you were known to have a whole bunch of kids by different men, you'd be registered as a hoe in the state.
Hey,
to start putting, hold, let me finish.
One thing that built in white supremacy is the fact that when you look at the building of the country in the Virginian colonies in the late 1600s, they actually wrote these kind of laws in. Like the reason why people wonder why white women are, and I'm not saying what you do what the white folks did at that extreme, but they wonder why the codification is so strong now. Because a lot of this shit was literally written into law in the late 1600s, early 1700s. You can't be going around with these other people. You're going to go to jail. You're going to do it because why? We look at it now like, oh, it's so mean. Everybody needs to come together. The way they saw it was, look, it's a whole bunch of dark-skinned motherfuckers on this land that we want to take over within the next couple hundred years.
Right.
And we're not going to be able to do that if y'all let these men dick y'all down. So we got to create a code of conduct, and that code was created and put in by law, and that's why we've gotten to where we are right now. So because white folks like this is how you build a code.
Yeah, well, black folks don't. Black men, we're not shit. We don't make any laws. We don't set any rules. We don't have any foundation. We don't have any principles. We need a code of conduct. We need a body of laws. This should have happened 100, 200 years ago. I don't blame black women for this. Black men haven't done their damn jobs. In fact, let's just be honest. Black men ain't shit when it comes down to creating a collective safety net and defense for black people. Black men have been derelict in their duties. I'm not talking about all of us, but as a collective, we have failed. We have failed by choice. Why? Because black men are brotherfuckers. They're catty, bitchy, intra-ethnically competitive, but won't compete extra-ethnically with anyone else. Black men are bitches. I repeat, I would shut the Masons down. I would shut the Greeks down. There would be one African-American church. I would shut, all the Black Methodists would be one church. I would shut the AMEs down. I'd shut the AMEs down. I would shut the CMEs, and there would be one Black or a Methodist church for Black folks. There'd be only one Baptist church. Nobody Black could be Catholic. Or actually, if you got to be Catholic, you would be designated as a non-Black person, because if you run after that Pope and the same, then we will surrender you to be an honorary white person. We would give you status as a white man. You want to be a Catholic that much? You want to be an Episcopalian? If you're in any religious group that does not support the freedom of Black people, that has any role in the suppression of Black people, we will give you a passport out of the Black race. You can leave. And you can't come back for 2 generations. Your kids will be so humiliated. They would all be in the Black Panther Party trying to prove my parents weren't shit. I'm sorry that they betrayed Black people. Look, I really like growing up. I'm so glad I grew up with white folks. Because when the schools are being desegregated where I was, the kids would come home, Mommy, the kids make fun of me. You're a nigger lover. Everyone hates me. Parents would have to take their kids out of school because white folks were on code. Stop playing with Black kids at school. Who do you think you are? Right? I'm not saying I want segregation like that, but I do want folks to recognize you're in a collective. Now, this book I was talking about that I initially had out, it talked about how Black people had greater hatred of themselves than anything else. And it's, in fact, this book here, I got this out the trash, guys.
Yeah.
It's in the trash, in the chapter in this book, and it's called Social Class, Race, and Psychological Development. Bunch of Jews put together, but they on point. And this was written in 1968, the year Dr. King was killed. And the chapter I want people to look at, it's just one chapter. Actually, it's 3. It's part 3, Social and Psychological Perspectives. And this is a heavy study on Black folks. And it talks about how Black people, and the thing that blew my mind was that there was a definite number of Black people who hated themselves and hated their group collectively. And this is what comes out of it. And the only way we can change this is to take over our community. I am saying to people, we're capable. Okay. I think about, in comparison to my grandfather, who had a fourth grade education, I am a failure. I am learning how not to be a failure, brother Duan. And I'm going to,
Yeah.
I got given basically what seemed to be good information from my boomer parents. I was given a bum trip. I was told, go to school, get a good education, get a good job. This is what they told us. They told us. They told us. I didn't go to jail. I didn't get anyone pregnant. I didn't use drugs. I did all the stuff, made good grades, went to college. And I'm unemployable because I'm well educated and I can't go for bullshit in a regular job. I could have spent the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I spent in school creating a business where I would be in charge versus being in my 50s, looking, hoping, I don't do it anymore, for someone to consider what I have to offer, to let me work for them for a fraction of the value of what I contribute to their company. So now, brothers, I say to you, and I need to send in, and by the way, I was just in Kentucky, and you need to know, I am going to be working as a retailer for hemp products. Oh, yes, I am. I don't even like smoking. In fact, I hope once I get into it to diversify out of smoking, and I just want to deal with fabrics and things like this. But will I sell smokes? Well, shit, what else can I do?
One more time. In the chat room, they're asking. They want you to show that book one more time in the chat room.
Okay, and there are many
Bring it
books.
over some more. Yeah. There we go. Y'all see it? Social Class, Race, and Psychological Development by Martin Douche, Erwin Katz, and Arthur R. Jensen. Y'all see it? So in the chat room, y'all good in the chat room?
And the very near in the very near future, brother Duan, I'm waiting for a check for work, or actually not a check, for contribution. I'm going to try to get a scanner, and what I'll probably try to do is start scanning these things. And what I can do is just send a PDF to people.
Some of the stuff is already out there on PDF.
Yeah, I understand, but
I'm gonna look it up.
I want people, and some of these books are on. We are going to have this book club. We're going to be using these mediums to educate people, and a lot of the stuff that I do isn't the Afrocentric stuff. There are plenty of people out there telling you all the shit we did 5,000 years ago. In fact, isn't it ridiculous if I told you about some pussy people getting in Egypt 5,000 years ago when you're not telling me how to get some today? That's how I feel. Yes, that's how I feel about y'all. Y'all talking some shit we used to do. In the words of Saint Janet Jackson, what have you done for the black race lately? Can you imagine that? I always use this example, and I talk to people. Look, if you have on the same pair of drawers, in fact, I threw a pair of drawers away the other day. I rarely do that, but there were some holes in it. I'm thinking, come on, dude, you bought some new drawers like a couple months ago. You've not even worn them. Why are you wearing a pair of drawers with holes in them? You've had these drawers for 5 years. In fact, they're not originally your drawers. Yes, I'm going to tell you a bad story. When I was staying with the Queen of the Blues, Denise LaSalle, you've heard of her, right?
Yes.
Well, her adopted son was stealing my drawers whenever I get my clothes washed. So I stole a pair of his drawers. Well, and those were the drawers I threw away. I says, you know what? I mean, the joke is over, and these things have holes in them. They weren't holes back where the poop hole is, but they were back between the legs. So, it's time. So I threw the drawers away. They got retired. But the thing is that I've been wearing the same pair of drawers for 5 years. If you do anything for too long, even if it's good, it doesn't work anymore. We've been wearing the Democratic Party's drawers for 50 years. We need to take that shit off. In fact, the acid out of our butthole should have eaten holes the size of grapefruit so we could change our drawers. We need our own party. I get told I'm an Uncle Tom for saying blacks need their own political party. When did black nationalism become Thomism?
And that's one point.
Hey, how y'all doing? Let me shout out to these people on this thing. I normally don't talk to people. Michael Tillery, how you doing? Xavier Brothers Group. Yes, you could be a moderator. We want a black men's discussion group on books. I don't want to do it all. I do want to specialize in attacking black self-hatred, attacking the boule, and of course, beating the shit out of pork chop feminism and pork chop feminist holes. Yes, sir.
Because it's a little bit off what you said earlier. When did
Hey, Devin.
Black become synonymous with being a Democrat? When did Democrat and black become synonymous? What kind of shit is this?
You know what it is? It comes with the gays and the socialists and all of that, where they have this concept of intersectionality. Or under Trotskyism, it's called entryism, where you get into something and you subvert it. So the communists, the socialists, the leftists, they believe that you have to get all these people, hey, can afford, you need to get this proletariat, which are all the people, to go up against the system. And so black folks become a division, and they've been there for a while, of the Democratic Party. We are no longer for ourselves, but we belong to other people. The gays have hijacked us. The Hispanics have hijacked us. You're in California. The Mexican mafia runs you black people. Okay, the Jewish mafia runs the blacks in Chicago. The gay mafia runs the blacks in DC. We are ruled, and these are all appendages of the Democratic Party. We have nothing that stands specifically for black people. Nothing. Not even the black church. Now the black church, those National Congress of Black Churches, these bisexual DL fake-ass black religious leaders, and the largest black church organization in this country, support the legalization of pedophilia. They support unlimited migration of illegals into this country. They support gay marriage. They support eugenics. The black church now supports the extermination of black people in this country. Almost all of your major black churches, and therefore, in the Leadership Conference for Civil and Human Rights, and Malcolm X warned us about the Leadership Council for Civil Rights, which is what it used to be called, that it was an enemy to black people. The Leadership Conference for Civil and Human Rights has now taken over black leadership in this country. The boule is under them. The black church is under them. The black unions are under them. Everything is under a group that supports the elimination of black people. And y'all got to hear me. No one will say this. None of these people will dare disagree with me. Trust me, Dewan, they know about people like you and I, and they'll never mention us. Punk ass Roland Martin, if you saw that thing I saw you, when Roland Martin has a white man humping up behind his ass, Roland Martin has a golf stick like a penis is going in him. He's doing this with a group of white men where a white man is humping behind Roland Martin's ass. If y'all don't believe me, come on over and Brother Dewan, put that picture up if you can. I don't know how to do it.
Right now. As you keep talking, I'm gonna find
Roland Martin is on the golf course. Tariq Nasheed put it up with a golf club between his legs, like a penis is coming through him, and a white guy humping behind him. That's Roland Martin.
Like he looked like he was throwing it back for a white man.
He was throwing it back for a white man.
I found it.
Put it up and show that Roland Martin does ass play with white men on the golf course. He's the voice of the boule. The boule wants us all to be fagged and dyked out.
Yep.
Put it up there. Show what his big blimp ass Betty Boop looking motherfucker did. I mean, this is what he's done. You know what?
Okay.
Even James Baldwin, white dick loving James Baldwin, never did this to us. The black gays of today are the biggest traitors. The biggest traitors in our community are black gay people who are sexuality first, white second, and black because they have no choice.
Hey, black because they have no choice. Look at this picture right now, Roland Martin. This dude looks like he's throwing it back. You got a white man doing a smacking motion, and he's holding a pole between his legs.
He's holding a pole with a smile.
He's smiling his ass off.
He didn't. He never smiled at Umar Johnson like that. Look, they will not acknowledge black people who are talking about real issues, because if they were the same way Roland Martin, the minute that he attacked Umar Johnson with all the schools that have never been built, with all the strippers who've never been paid, even Umar Johnson nearly took Roland Martin off being jumped on his own show. That's like getting your ass beat in a home invasion, Roland Martin. Damn.
Roland Martin stick that ass got up his ass.
Yeah, Roland Martin doing ass play on the golf course, and he's the only black person there, so he's the guest of honor.
I bet they ran a train on Roland Martin when they got done playing golf. His booty hole was worn out. All that nigga shit was shaped like soda cans.
Well, let me just say to you that Rollover Martin and all these other people are not looking out for us. When Roland Martin could steal debate questions to help Hillary Clinton, black people in key positions could take all kinds of intelligence. Let me tell you, when I was about 11 years old, maybe 12, I was going through some papers across the street from my house where a Jewish woman lived named Mrs. Newberry. Mrs. Newberry was in the ADL pretending that she was friends to black people, and they were keeping files on all the black organizations in Washington, D.C. This is something that I read when I was like 12 years old. I'm 55. That's 43 years ago. I learned Jewish people spy on black people. I didn't know. Why are they spying on us? I thought blacks and Jews were cool. Not according to them. So Mrs. Newberry was out and she's in the neighborhood and they were spying on black people. Mrs. Newberry's house was just about 4 blocks from Howard University, so she could spy on black folks, and she'd bring all the information back and circulate it to other Jewish organizations. You mean to tell me that punk ass Roland Martin and these other people can't get information and intelligence on what's happening to black people? They could, they don't, because they support what happens to us. Our situation is, it benefits Roland Martin. It benefits Joy Reid and other illegals and foreign black people who don't like us that are here. And ADOS, in spite of, their hammerhead shark-looking albino broad, who's much more carpets than a Hoover vacuum cleaner. Okay. ADOS has great value. Foundational Black American, in fact, Tariq Nasheed, I don't care what you say about the brother. He's generating consciousness and awareness. Doesn't have to be 100%. Like you said, there's not perfect messengers, but they're perfect messages. Tariq Nasheed is doing an incredible job. I don't care what he used to be. Hell, Malcolm X used to be a pimp. Most preachers are still our pimps. Okay.
And that's the thing about what it is. I'm glad you brought up Tariq Nasheed, because he's someone who we gotta give people flowers when they're living, and black people gotta be smart enough to look past people's personalities if it all puts us in a certain way, if they're fighting for the greater good of black people. Mm-hmm. Tariq Nasheed with his Hidden Color series really got kicked off the consciousness that we have right now.
Tariq Nasheed.
Most people are going to say they didn't find out what they knew about black people until they saw Hidden Colors. And for you motherfuckers who go around talking about Hidden Colors, that information been around. Well, wasn't nobody listening to your ass talk about it?
Tariq Nasheed
made the shit cool on the street.
Tariq Nasheed is the equivalent of Du Bois for working class grassroots black people. As a teacher, I would never reach, no matter what university, books. Tariq has reached more people than practically anybody black living, other than, say, Hendrick Clark and these other people that were out for decades. This dude did it in record time. And I'm going to say something else about Tariq Nasheed that he won't want people to know, but I want to tell people about Tariq Nasheed having a heart. I did an interview with Tariq Nasheed. I was happy to do it. As I was getting ready to leave, he's going to walk me out. And it's like, well, but then again, some people came in and he says, dude, what's your Cash App? He didn't promise me anything. I have done interviews for the last 11 years. Anything I've done for 95 to 90, almost 99% of black folks, it's been for free. Folks wouldn't give you when they could give you. Tariq Nasheed, without anything, sent me a very large donation without me asking. without me asking. I was surprised, and he was so worried because there was someone that looked like they had a Cash App that matched mine. He wouldn't send it through Cash App. He sent it through PayPal because he wanted to make certain that I got it from him. He hasn't told anybody. This happened months ago, but I said, you know what? I should tell someone. Tariq Nasheed, unsolicited, just bless me. There are a lot of people that know me. Dick Gregory, a whole bunch of people have never, ever given me a 50 cents.
And you know what I like about that story is because for those people out there, you know, in the chat room, we're pretty on code here in my chat room. But there are those outliers and those people going around talking about, oh, Tariq is a hustler, he's a this, he's a that. Look, if you're getting an exchange, if you're getting a product for what you're paying for, that's not hustle, that's business.
That is business.
And what he does is, when a story like that, what you said with him giving you money for what you did.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Real quick, for the people out there, what that's called, that's why they call it circulating money. When you want to get more money in your pocket, when you want to get to the level of a Tariq Nasheed, the best way to start is to give it. When you give it, you get it. When you're dealing with somebody who has an energy of, I'm going to give you some money for your time, that comes back to you tenfold. Like, but people are quick to pick up a Bible and talk about it when it comes to the church. But then when a black man gives to his other black men and then receives tenfold back in return, they want to say he hustling. That's some immature shit.
It's player hater, it's jealousy, it's envious. So I hadn't said anything, but Brother Dewan, he gave me hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I did not ask him for anything. I didn't. I have a witness. He just made certain that you must get something. I would to God, our people, whether they were pimps, hoes, I'll tell you something. I love gangsters. My problem with gangs is who they're fighting. I come from a family of thugs. There are two types of us, the churchgoers and the niggas that don't go to church. I'm sort of in between. And what I'll say to you, the people, the gangbangers, they believe in reciprocity. Even when it comes down to when you mess with them, they give it back to you. Okay. I have to give honor. I've been watching Tariq Nasheed for a while. I don't watch everything, but I've been seeing him on Twitter exposing stuff. He doesn't have to be perfect. And so I told him, because some people attacked him for having a flag. And I says, damn, white people had a bunch of flags during the American Revolution, before they settled. The idea of us having our own flag, God bless them. Why don't you, Mrs. Bitch? Aren't you a woman? Can't you sew? I mean, in fact, y'all should be making your own Kotex since you're worried about the white folks killing you. Why can't you make a flag? Make your own flag. Garvey had a flag. You didn't criticize him. And that flag was for everybody. Let this man inspire people to think about us having an identity. You don't have to use his flag, but give him some money. Do you understand what I'm saying? I started talking to Brother Tariq about the Dismal Swamp, where my ancestors were fighting back in the day, fighting with white folks, shooting, robbing, looting and shit. Back when slavery was legal and the law of the land, my ancestors, some of them just didn't, like me, I can't fit into corporate America. They couldn't fit into the corporate America of that time, which was a plantation. So they had their own communities deep in the swamp, and nobody F with them because it was like a roach motel. You could get into the Dismal Swamp, but your racist ass wouldn't get out.
Dr. Stroke, keep talking. I'm going to get this book. Keep talking.
Okay, so anyway, no, brothers and sisters, Tariq Nasheed, and not just him, Vicky from Fly Nubian Queens, there are people, even Boyce Watkins' statement about the Democrats. I mean, and sometimes Boyce be making me wonder, but Boyce put it out there. We do have people telling the truth, standing, making sense, waking people up, getting people to think. This is very important. We need to know stuff, right? Man, there's so much to talk about. I mean, come on, y'all. Talk to me in the chat room. hold on. Since my brother's gone for a second, what y'all saying? Let me see what y'all saying in the chat room because I can't see his chat room. Brother Xavier, we do. Hey, brother Anthony. I do want a men's this book group. Oh, you got a book.
I want to show people this book because you were talking about the Great Disco Swamp and how our families fall.
Right.
Dr. Randy Short is like, in these interviews, y'all got to understand, I'm not just someone here preaching to you guys saying what you need to do. Dr. Randy Short inspires me. I'm someone who's been listening to Dr. Randy Short for a couple years now.
Ooh, a couple years?
We All BTV. Subscribe to We All BTV.
Ron Hurd. I want to thank Ron Hurd.
Dr. Randy Short. And Dr. Randy Short was somebody who I listened to for years and I learned from, and he inspired me to go to go ahead and look up my family lineage. You know, first my wife was on my ass for years for doing it, and I wasn't doing it. But I would hear Dr. Randy Short talk about his family and talk about the different uncles and great grandparents. To me, that was just impressive. So to see him be able to knock off information like that, it made me like, you know what? I know all this world history. Let me get closer into my family history. And so what I did was I've been looking for it, and I found this book. I've been blessed to know that my family had a book written on them, and this is it right here: Southern Seed, Northern Soil. Mm-hmm. It's my family lineage is in this book, along with other families from the area that Dr. Short is talking about in the Northampton, Virginia, the North Carolina, Virginia border area.
And by the way, that's the first black belt, brother.
Who lived throughout the 1800s free, throughout the 1700s free.
That's
and when
right.
slavery was coming to get on their ass, they left and migrated to Indiana, bought tons and tons and miles of acres of land, and created their own farming communities and lived freely while slavery was going on, and lived successfully through Jim Crow era. So get this book right here, Southern Seed, Northern Soil. It talks about free black people and things that we were doing at the time that the media want to make it seem like we was waiting on white folks to free us. No, you have free black people who are going to them plantations, kicking ass and freeing black folks too.
Yeah, my ancestors were involved in the Underground Railroad. They were. It's amazing. We were fighting. People wonder why black folks made so much progress after the Civil War. It's because there was a movement going on before there was a Civil War.
Yes.
Most people aren't aware of what's called, there's a really good book called The Legacy of Igbo Landing. Okay, I'm going to put this down here. It was called the Igbo Wars. What you know them as the Seminole Wars. But these were black people who were fighting from the 1720s until the late 1850s. Black folks had the longest war in the world happened between black people fighting in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina from the 1720s all the way just before the Civil War broke out. Understand that. That's a long-ass war. And actually, the war predates that because the black folks who took out with the Indians, the Spanish, and the 1520s in PD, South Carolina, black folks have been fighting from the 1520s all the way up to the Civil War. We've been told a lie. We've been told alive. Yeah, I used to do Lance Scurv's show, but I had one problem, Brother Anthony, and that is I said to Brother Lance, could you put my Cash App on any interviews I do? And he told me, nah. Brother Lance said, brother, hold on. Let me tell you. Brother Lance said, nope, you don't need to put your Cash App on the video. I'll set up a Vimeo and you'll get it that way. And I turn around and find that Lance has his Cash App on interviews he did with me. Why didn't he share with me? That's how these people they get real selfish at that. But so I have we do here at Hotepish Intelligent-ish. Mm-hmm. We share, we give, we provide because the whole purpose of this show, like I tell you guys all the time, is we spread information. Next week
we have lawyer Jai Person Lin coming on the show.
Mm-hmm.
He's the person at the state that they basically put a bogus charge on him in court. You can look up his article on the Atlanta Black Star, and they basically put a bogus charge on him in court because he's a black lawyer out here in LA fighting for black people. And they tried to arrest him for going in. Well, they did arrest him for going in to defend one of his own clients. So I'm going to have him here next week. I'm going to have, I'm trying to nail down a date to get my man Big John so we can talk some comedy. We have a lot of shit coming for you because we bring the information, we share, and also our relationship courses are coming. Relationship advice, relationship coaching, interspousal, interpersonal, and also parent to child. We bring in the classes, we bring in the expertise, we bring in the information. So that's why we are here. We are here with Dr. Randy Short. You see his Cash App on top. You value the information. Donate to the man's Cash App, and let's circulate this money. And going back to a few comments I've seen here in the chat room, you know, look, the reason why in my show, every show, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages, is because as black people, and y'all heard me say it before, and I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. We get caught in these cultic personalities. We get caught up in the people. We get caught up in, oh, I like this person. Ooh, what this person's wife look like? What's this? What's that? If they got information for you, get it. If that person ain't dropping game for you, if you can't learn anything from them, just don't watch them. Leave them alone. Go to where you can, because there are people out there that put up information that me personally, I can't fuck with them. But I'm not gonna shit on them because there are people out there who can get information from them. So just always be on that. Always be about the game, and leave all that pettiness out of there if you can. But at the same time, if someone is doing what they're doing to harm the greater of black society, go in on they bitch ass. If they're hurting us, if they're harming us, if they're undermining us, that's what Dr. Randy Shorty and I are here for, to go in on these people. Because they've been fucking with us for a long time, and they're the reason we're still under subjugation today.
All I can say to you is that I'm not mad at anybody doing whatever they can do to help black people. Never, ever, ever. And so that's how that goes. And
Dangerous Television in the chat room. He said you can learn what not to do from a bum. You goddamn right. I'm gonna tell a quick little family story. I'm not gonna call a person's name out, but I had a family member that every time they came by the house, they was always sounding stupid and doing stupid shit. And when I was a 5, 6, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, I was a very gullible child. I was the kind of child that, you know, if an adult told me, I'd listen. You know what I mean? My mom raised me that way. My mom raised me, you listen to adults, you respect adults. So as an 11, 5-year-old, I used to listen all the time, no questions asked. Except for with certain cousins. It would be something in my gut be like, I know I'm only 6, and this nigga's 40, but it's something about him that's full of shit. We all know in our guts when that person is and when they come around. So when that person would talk in my family, I would look at him as the example to like, okay, if this nigga said it, I'm gonna do the opposite. We can learn from the positive and the negative. You put a battery on a car, that shit has a blue and a red plug, a black and a red, positive and negative energy. That battery won't work unless both the positive and negative are acknowledged. You can't learn shit, you can't grow if you can't acknowledge and learn from the bad shit too. So that's just my little spiel when it comes to picking up information, man. We all about picking up information and moving on and moving forward and building a greater society. And that's what we're here for. And building a greater society oftentimes includes talking shit and clowning and embarrassing
that's our mission.
And with 3 titties like Kamala Harris.
And in fact, I need to remind people, the black newspapers, which have largely collapsed since the civil rights movement era, the independent black media, Professor Black Truth, Black Authority, Fly Nubian Queen, Afro Synergy, we're functioning as the black newspapers. And in fact, I have been I've been doing this for now 10 years. I need to make people clear. Reverend C.T. Vivian died a few months ago.
Yes.
How I met Reverend C.T. Vivian was because when they were burning black churches, I was so upset. And I was working for public television, and the Congressional Black Caucus of people were doing nothing as they burnt black houses of worship. I found people that I could help from behind the scenes, giving them information on black churches being burned, black families being targeted by hate groups. That's how I met C.T. Vivian. That's how I got to become acquaintances with Medgar Evers' wife, and nobody knew me, and I didn't care. When your guy from the San Jose Mercury, Gary Webb, did his story Dark Alliance, you're looking at the person who sent out 5,000 copies of his story to black organizations and press all over America. Okay. Gary Webb and I talked the Monday after Dark Alliance was published.
Oh, I know you knew Gary Webb.
I knew Gary Webb. And that's 24 years ago. Okay. Dick Gregory learned of Gary Webb from me. When Dick Gregory was thrown in jail with Alveda King at the the CIA in 1996, the person that alerted black media that Dick Gregory had been arrested was me. And that's 24 years ago. And I didn't want you to know who I was. When we were leaning on Clinton to let black people out of jail, I was feeding information to my mentor, C. Dolores Tucker, to get Dorothy Gaines out of jail. I've been doing it. That was 1999. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I didn't just come out and say, pay attention to me. I'm great. I'm so important. I happily, from the time I was I first started doing political or social stuff basically when I was 4. My mother used to get the drunks and winos and clean them up and buy clothes for them. So make them decent clothes to wear. And they'd go out and shit and piss all over them. My mother would wash them over and over again. I used to help my mother wash black men covered in their own shit and piss. And I used to think that what difference does it make, Mom? They're going to go out and get drunk and shit and piss on themselves over and over again. Mom, aren't you afraid? These men have no clothes on. And my mother would do this. My mother was so strong, she could pick up a grown man, take him up a flight of stairs, and wash him in a bathtub, fix them up, give them a meal, tell them that God loved them, that black men had more worth than being in a gutter covered in their own piss. And some of those people they'd stop being winos. Not all, but a few. Okay, that's 1969. That's 51 years ago, having to wash the shit off of people as a child. When I talk about black folks, I ain't like these black conservatives that hate poor black people. So that's me with my hands with piss and shit on it when I'm 4. Are you understanding me? That's me putting their clothes in the washing machine. That's me. I can smell the wild Irish rose and the piss to this day. That's the kind of family I came from.
Yeah, he came from some real help. Real service.
When my parents were run out of St. Elizabeth's mental hospital, because my father and mother would take us to the mental hospital, and my mother would sing and my father would play, and they would pray with people, help people get out of the mental institution. So many people were checking out of DC St. Elizabeth's Hospital until Christmas 1974. The directors of the hospital came to confront my parents at one of the pavilions, and they told them, "Y'all need to get your asses out of here. Who do you think you are?" And all we were doing was singing Christmas carols and praying with people. Get out of here or the police are going to come get you. And I remember us running from the hospital, hoping that we didn't get thrown in jail for helping people. And these were black, bushy type people that did this. This is why you hear me curse these Boule people like I do. I have seen them. They wanted the black people in the mental institution. The crime my parents had committed was that people began to recover their right mind in St. Elizabeth's, and they couldn't make money and without a large number of people institutionalized. I've been watching black doctors and at Howard. They want us down. They derive their privilege and their status off the destruction of the 90% of us. And until we get sick of these people and angry with them, okay? See, if I was a teacher, if I had a student that wasn't up to snuff, but they wanted to be, I would pass them. The people that I failed were people that showed me, fuck you, I'm not going to learn, I'm not going to read, I'm F, I failed you.
Real quick, I want to show the people real quick, you mentioned Gary Webb. Get this movie right here if you want to know a little more, if you don't want to read, Kill the Messenger. It's on Netflix.
Kill the Messenger.
And then, y'all see the cover here on screen. Kill the Messenger is about the Gary Webb story and how he released the information on crack cocaine and how crack cocaine was destroying black community and how the crack cocaine was brought in by the government. So those who don't know, I see in the chat room, for those who don't know who Gary Webb is and how important he was to us, watch this movie, Kill the Messenger, right here, and it'll give you how hard he went for black people and just for overall. And for those out there who wonder what a white ally looks like, a white ally ain't over here telling you your top 5 hip hop favorite artists. A white ally is a white person that goes and whatever information he has that white society is doing to undermine black people, he's openly willing to share it. That's a true ally. Go ahead, my brother.
I met Gary Webb the Monday after Dark Alliance came out. I happened to go to work. I got to work at about 7 o'clock in the morning. That was the earliest I ever went to work. And I was watching the wires to see the news stories. And I saw Gary Webb's story come up. And what used to happen through the Associated Press wires is they would give a teaser story to see if they could get other newspapers to take the story off and run it. They ran a first teaser about cocaine, drugs in the black community. Then they ran a longer one. And they said in a few minutes they would do the third piece. The third piece didn't run. And I says, oh my God, they're going to kill this story about how the CIA and these folks are killing black folks with these drugs. I'm a little somebody, but I could do something. I tried to figure out who's crazy enough to jump on this shit. And I called Joe Madison, who's now on Sirius Radio, and says, Joe, wake the fuck up. There's a story about how the CIA is killing black people. It's in a reputable newspaper, and they've decided to kill the story to hide how they're killing us. We got to tell everybody. That was the first time I ever went on the internet to get the Dark Alliance story. I sent it to everybody, in particular C. DeVos Tucker and other folks, to do something about this. I talked to Gary Webb that day. It was in 1996. And I thought, because the story was so good, so honest, I assumed Gary Webb's black. My babysitter's name was Wendell Webb. I thought Webb may be black. But Gary wasn't. Because I asked Gary, are you black? And he said, no. I says, well, you are now. You're not white anymore. I said, you've got to change your whole life. You've just lost your status as a white man in America. I'm concerned about you. So look, Gary, you're going to have to surround yourself with people who hate the system, or else they'll destroy you. And I says, Gary, if you don't hear me, first, they will get your editor to shut you down. Then they will fire and defame you. The whole media will come down on you. Then your wife will divorce you. 4, your children will be estranged from you. 5, either they will kill you or you'll kill yourself. And he got angry with me. So when I'd see Gary Webb after that, he would never talk to me. He got very angry whenever he'd see me. Well, Gary Webb's editor at the San Jose Mercury was black. He turned on Gary. The entire media came down on Gary. Gary got divorced from his wife. Gary was estranged from his children. And Gary supposedly shot himself in the head 2 times in December of 2004.
And y'all can look. You guys can Google the images. I don't like looking at them, but I seen it one time. You literally see his autopsy, and it's 2 holes in the side of his head. I'm trying to figure out how you shoot yourself once, bam, and then find the wherewithal with a hole in your head to do it again.
They killed him. They killed him. They killed him. And the reason I found out he was dead, there's a very famous author on drugs. His name is Alfred McCoy, The Politics of Heroin in Southeast Asia. I reached out to Alfred McCoy, and Alfred McCoy said, your friend is dead. I couldn't believe Alfred McCoy remembered me from all these. I mean, I'm nobody, right, to this very well-known scholar. And he says, I've just come back from National Public Radio in Madison. Gary Webb, they killed him. They killed your friend. Brother Dewan, back then I used to work with Maxine Waters. I love that Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters got Gary Webb's story. I mailed it to her house, to her office, to her congressional offices. I mean, I sent it out to everyone. Okay. When the Gary Webb story broke, I used to work at the NewsHour with Jim Lehrer. The white editors and other people who hated the story, they would come and say to me, and I was just a production assistant. Basically, I was like a water boy at a football team. You know what they would say? We see you got your story out. How did it say that? All people said they were forced to carry it because I know I did my part. See, they had the Democratic Party convention in 1996. I didn't go. I stayed back in Virginia, and I just made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of copies of Gary Webb's story. I sent it to every Black organization in the country. Okay. If I can do that in a job that's an affirmative action job where I have no power, no authority, nothing, I get angry with other people who have so much more money and resources that they will not do what's necessary to protect our people. I'm talking about nigger preachers and organizations that could do a whole lot. The NAACP was late talking about this. Almost nobody cared. Gary Webb is a hero for Black people. And that's why I keep telling you, I just want you to know Gary Webb and I had a conversation. One of the things we said, Gary says, I think my story is going to die. And I says, no, Gary, no, Mr. Webb, give your story to me. Everybody's going to remember this story. Give it to me. Send it to me. I promise you, everybody will know. I kept my word to Mr. Webb. Dick Gregory got it from me, everybody. And this is what I was doing before I do interviews like this. I didn't care. I was happy to give it to Joe. I was happy to give it to Dick. I was happy to push it to other people as long as certain Black journalists or people would do something. And then Black people changed with the second term of Clinton, and then they don't want to speak up for poor Black people anymore.
I'm glad you said that. I remember because I was really young. I was really young at that time. I remember in the early 90s, there was a heightened sense of Black awareness.
Yes.
You saw things coming out. You saw it because I remember you said something critical earlier. You said you liked that Maxine Waters. And
I love that Maxine Waters. I would go to Maxine Waters' office.
I'm going to get to you. My mom, the reason I'm so political was when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, my mom used to go to the city council meetings here in Los Angeles, California. Maxine Waters was at those meetings in the late 80s, early 90s. I remember back then a more proactive Maxine Waters, a high energy Maxine Waters, a Maxine Waters that was down for Black people.
Yes.
And something that in the late 80s, then we had the Malcolm X movie, hip hop was all pro-Black. You had that in about 94, 95, about 95, 96. It's like Black stopped being the cool thing.
Yes. And gay came in. And what I want to say to you, I used to go to Maxine Waters' office. I know what it's like to be in Maxine Waters' office and watch Gary Webb on the news. There was a guy, I'm forgetting her assistant, that she used to have working for her. I used to work with people in the CBC. I want you to understand, as a volunteer, I didn't do this for money. I did it because I thought these people, that's Larry Pinckney called me, I thought these people gave a damn about Black people. Let me tell you something. When the Congressional Black Caucus really began to go down, it's when Nancy Pelosi became House Majority Leader. Nancy Pelosi is the most evil, sinister enemy of Black people, the worst of all times.
That's a funky bitch.
Nancy Pelosi told the Congressional Black Caucus to turn their backs on Black people dying in New Orleans during Katrina. I'm just telling you, Maxine Waters and them used to stand up until Pelosi showed up. Nancy Pelosi is the most sinister, the most evil, the most wicked white woman to ever have existed in our people's history. And
Nancy
she is.
Pelosi looks like the 97-year-old version of Maggie from The Simpsons.
It's just awful. Maxine Waters and them used to stand up until Nancy Pelosi came along. She's made everybody bitches, everybody whores. Everybody has to fight for illegals and gays and nothing for Blacks. This is the Pelosi doctrine. Blacks must die. Blacks must be silent. Blacks must fight for everybody else's rights and be intersectional for everyone but them. The NAACP and all these people, since what, 2000, when the NAACP got about $15 million from the Bush people to allow the election to be stolen from Gore, this is what's happened. Okay, we absolutely have to understand. And now they want to put up Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries is the only Muslim I know that advocates for gay rights. He's not the answer either. We got to have someone, if you're going to have a Democrat, I'd rather have Ayanna Pressley. I mean, even with her being bald head, she got a nice ass and she speaks up for Black folks now and then. And she's out of Boston. Of the Black women in Congress, I like Ayanna Pressley the most. She speaks up. I don't like her being, she speaks up. I don't care what you call yourself. Speak up for Black people. Stand up for Black people. I call them Urban Greed, and I used to work for Urban Greed. I've done consulting. I've worked with almost everybody. The Rainbow Coalition. This is sort of why I talk about people so bad. And I did it voluntarily. You didn't even have to pay me. Are you going to help Black folk? I'll go in and lick envelopes like I'm Kamala Harris. You know what I'm saying? In fact, she could slide it between her legs, man, and just seal all the envelopes. Can you imagine Kamala taking an envelope and sliding it and sealing it, stacking it, slide?
You can't do that because of her pussy dry, man.
Well, no, but it's been. But you know what? Now that she's wet, now that they've won, they've stolen. I bet you it's wet now, just off the corruptions. Just moisten that shit back up. And can you see her?
Can the first time her pussy been wet since 1987.
Well, since she was with Willie Brown, so she take the envelope and stack it up.
Look, y'all. Like I said, it looks as if Biden and Kamala gonna win. Look, we about to have a fun 4 years. You know why we about to have a fun 4 years? It's because we've been hearing you voteps talk about Trump this, Trump that. Trump is the reason why everything is bad.
Right.
Trump this. So this was going. Let me give you my prediction of what's going to happen over the next 4 years, politically and socially. Then I'm gonna get Dr. Short's input over this. This is what's going to happen. Over the next 4 years, all those people, the others, the minorities, the people of color that have said we all in this together, all these motherfuckers who were scared of Trump, they got who they want in office now. And what's going to happen is they going to stop giving a fuck about us. Because guess what? The police going to keep doing what they do.
That's right.
The white supremacists are going to keep doing what they do. And when all these things get done, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, at best, they're going to give a speech, but they ain't going to do nothing. So very early in their presidency, Black people are going to see very clearly that we have no friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not going to get help in the White House, and all those others that we think we have an alliance with, they now got their person back in office. So they're going to be like, niggas, fuck y'all. Trump ain't here no more. And we we're going to get the rudest wake-up call. And what's going to happen, the same way Trump aired out the open the racist white supremacists, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to air out and make it vividly clear who are the black people who are internal traitors within black society. And they're going to make it very clear that we have no people of color minority coalition.
That's right.
None of that bullshit. Go ahead, Dr. Short.
Look, the Trump election, if Trump loses, black people lose. Kamala Harris, she's likely to be president because Joe Biden, I don't even think he can get his dick up in the morning. Okay, how is he going to be president for another 4 years? He's going to need help. In fact, maybe, she's probably
one of those Dick Cheney hearts.
No, she's going to give him hand jobs every day to keep his heart pumping. Kamala, we're in trouble. We're in real trouble, and it isn't so much that I care about so much party politics, but I'm thinking about group politics. We're going to get a lot of really bad things to happen to us. And what's going to happen, the Boule and the other black people who betrayed us, they're going to lie and deflect like they did for Obama for 8 years. Roland Martin, and then we'll start lying like never before. They're going to praise Kamala for everything. They're going to praise Kamala for more blacks going to jail. Everything that they do, we're going to be told is great. And so we're about to be betrayed in a very, very, very big way.
And
it's really
Kamala
sad.
She's going to be Indian. I want to thank Sandra Clark for donating to the Cash App, or King Jackson Q. Thank y'all for donating to the Cash App. Please keep it coming. And also donate to Dr. Randy Short because he's giving us information in the game. This is the man that Dick Gregory would get his information from. So what y'all hearing right now, I want to make something very clear. People always say when it comes to when someone like a Dr. Short is giving information, the first thing people do, and it's because we've been educated by the European, they go and go, okay, what European network does he work for? What European can I attach this man's name to before I give him legitimacy? Understand this. The people who are really doing this shit for us, they're not going to ever get a camera time, or if they do, it'll be little, and the minute they say something pro-black, that'll be it. So we have to know and sense and know who we're talking to, and know that the people, just because someone's in front of you and you didn't see them and they weren't presented to you by CNN, they weren't presented to you by a White House press secretary, you're talking to the person who knows all these people, been knowing all these people, worked with them in different capacities, from fundraisers to campaigns to being a professor. He taught some of these motherfuckers that y'all love as a professor. So you're getting the information from the real deal here on Hotepish. And once again, Dr. Short, give them your YouTube channel so they know how to get to you directly.
It's Randy Short. If you look for Randy Short in YouTube, Randy Short in Instagram, Randy Short 1965 in Instagram, Randy Short in, I think, Periscope. I'm on a lot of platforms, but Randy Short in YouTube, Randy Short in Facebook. There's a Randy L. Short in Facebook. They're different platforms. You need them, brother, because they constantly put me off for saying stuff. So
before you get into it, one more housekeeping thing, and I'm gonna let you get to it. One more housekeeping thing. We have over 400 people here in the live chat room. I want you guys to like. I want y'all to subscribe, and I want y'all to share. We have over 400 people in the chat room, and we had 222 likes right now.
If they just all went to my page, if they just right, if just 400 of y'all went to my YouTube page and subscribed, you don't even have to follow me. That would allow me to go live as often as I need to. And then we can go live all the time. In fact, we haven't even talked about this damn election yet. We've been doing housekeeping for black folks. But I want to say to everybody, I want to praise all the black women that left the Democrats. I want to praise the 20% or more black men that in exit polls said, fuck you to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Don't say fuck you to her. She'll say, sure. Let's see how thick you are. You think it's your penis and she's talking about your wallet. Okay. Look, what happened in this election is that black people, black men in particular, flipped the script on this country. This hasn't happened since the Civil War. where a significant number of black men have taken up war against the Democratic Party. And that was a party that represented slavery. Black men have quit and have gone over to the Republican Party, not because they love the Republicans, not because Lincoln loved black people, but because he'd put a gun and some bullets in your hand to fight people who are messing with you, that have you on lockdown. And that may have been a tactic. And that's all we're going to get is tactics from people who hold us down. What we need is foundational principles by which we interact with each other. It's the same way, Brother Dewan. I mean that if you call me and you ask me for something, I'm going to try to give it to you because I want to. When I grew up, where I grew up with white,
you go through with it. You don't try, you do it.
Right. And so and it's the same thing for you. And we have to love each other. I have love for black women. Black women are all we got. The only thing a black man will ever have is black women and children. Same way, now I'm back in DC. I got to hook up with Jade or Rendell, and we have to go after our punk ass lesbian mayor where they want to vaccinate our children without parental consent. I don't have children, but every black child is mine. I'm concerned about it. I know what it's like to get a bad vaccination back in 1968 that made me sick for a whole year. I didn't know whether I would live or die. My parents didn't know whether I'd live or die. I feel when you tell me about vaccinations, not that I'm against all, but I got a bad one. I got a real bad one. I was sick. I know what it's like to be sick for a significant part of, I was so sick, I'll never forget it. So I care about, you know what? I'm with Elaine Riddick, the Rebecca Project. We're against black women being handcuffed to beds and having babies in prison. That's what I do after I've said all this stuff about pork chip feminist holes. If you really found out where I'm coming from, whenever there's been something to advocate for black women or their rights, I've been there if I could. Sister Jade, who's a woman, when she calls me, whenever I stop to help any sister that's a warrioress in the struggle, if I can help them and it's not some bullshit, it's not a time thief, it's not some sister asking me to do $1 trillion worth of work free off my own dime. Because a lot of sisters, I'm just telling you, sisters, a lot of y'all treat black men like they're not shit. And I didn't get you pregnant. I didn't kick your ass. I didn't leave your mother. I haven't hurt you. I am a man of virtue. I'm a decent black man, and I demand respect. To come and ask me, I want to fight a legal battle, and we're talking about $1 million worth of work. And yes, have I had people ask me to do a whole bunch of shit and ask them, well, what's in it for me? And they can't talk to you in any way about any money. And let me tell you something. If you help these people, even if you don't succeed, they'll tell everybody how they didn't get what they want. They would never tell people I never paid them a dime. They would never tell you that you got them stuff that nobody else could get for them for free. And yet they will have given tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to someone white. And they'll come to a black person like me who is financially limited and ask me to do work for free, which is bullshit. Why are you asking? And by the way, ask everybody in your chat rooms, please ask your friends to subscribe to my channel. And Brother Dewan, the same way I've been doing Ron Hurd's show for 7 years, ask Ron. I call Ron all the time to do his show. I didn't change once I started getting more. I'm not like that. People that have known me know what you see is what you get. I'm pretty consistent, except for if a person screws me. Now, I just want to say that we have to fight this. No matter who wins, our struggle just begins. Whenever they declare this election, we have to fight. Now, let's talk about this election. This election is being stolen by people who hate our guts on the left. That's Soros, it's Black Lives Matter, it's the Democrats who want to help the illegals come here and drown us. If you're listening to all this election news, they're praising Hispanic voters, Hispanic voters, Hispanic voters, Hispanic voters. Joe Biden has promised to give 24 million illegals citizenship. This will destroy us. And all of you that voted for Joe Biden, you voted for not only for us to be destroyed, but for pedophilia to be legalized. So black children will become the dick and crotch bait of deviance. This is what you voted for. This is what you've done to your people. And I want to say something. Black women, y'all have become so fucked up mentally. You're the only woman on the earth that don't protect your children. You're the only women on earth that aren't advocates for your children. You're the only women walking this earth that are not advocates for men in your group on the earth. The only group of y'all are the only ones. And I don't hate pussy because I told you the truth. I might like it more. A nigga that will tell you the truth about yourself cares more than a dude that lies to get up in your drawers.
Yep.
A black man that tells a sister honestly has more integrity. Let me just say to you, feminism has made sisters addicted to deceit and lies. Y'all are addicted, so they masturbate you with lies, with little punk ass Don Lemon and little gorilla cookie looking Joy Reid, and all these people lie to you. And little Betty Boop punk ass Rollover Martin, they're lying to black women specifically. Why? Because they know the most emotional, most traumatized, and forgive me, due to the emotions and the traumatization, it makes black women the most emotionally unstable group of people in the country. Proof of the instability is who they decide to have children with. You got all these niggas with degrees and shit, they're single, and you got niggas with enough criminal records to be Hitler, and they got more babies than anybody. They got more women. I mean, dudes, I mean, sister with more black eyes than a field of peas. And and she's with this rotten ass man. And you got folks with quality. And you know what? And I say this to black women. The white gay men are after your black man. The Latino gay is after the black man. The Asian women are after the black man. The Latinas, everybody wants to fuck the black American man, but you. And you think you're smart. You're stupid. Eve was stupid, and the first woman was black. The dumbest fuck woman of all times was a black woman named Eve. She fucked up the game. And y'all still fucking up. As proof, no woman are dumber than us, which dumber than what we have, and therefore, I'm not talking about the righteous ones, but those stupid ass ones.
The righteous ones. We talking about
the dumb ass black women. That's right.
On a sword for these dumb women, right?
Yes, stop. That's right. Stop doing that. And by the way, this bitch shaming exercise has been brought to you by the masculinist movement. We need a masculine movement. This is we're what would we call ourselves? Virtuous patriarchs. You know, if they can have virtual pedophile, you can have a virtuous patriarchy. We want to go back to mama, daddy, baby, right? We want to go back to that. Goddamn feminism. Fuck feminists. Fuck womanism too. If womanism isn't supporting black patriarchy, it's nothing but knockoff feminism with some black women who are miserable and bad looking in it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make them mad.
I entered his YouTube page into the comments, and it's also in the description bar. So for those watching on the replay, Dr. Randy Short's YouTube page is in the description. And also what's in the description is hotepish.com. Go to get your t-shirt. Go to get your Hotepish t-shirt. Also get your Scholars t-shirt full of Clark, Wellington, Sertiman Ben Yakinen. Stop wearing these goddamn athletes' names on the back of your jerseys and put the names of your scholars on the front of your chest. Show it with your chest. And I got some more dope-ass t-shirts coming. But Dr. Randy Short, you brought up something.
Can I share this book real fast?
Go ahead.
Okay. This book is called The Scum Manifesto. Scum stands for the Society of Cutting Up Men. This is a manifesto of pork chop feminists and white radical lesbian feminists that men should be destroyed, should be castrated, should be ruined. There should be no traditional family. The Scum Manifesto. Check it out. There are a lot of dumbass sisters. If you're for scum, even if you don't know the book, but you're following the principles, that's like me living as a Christian and not knowing about Jesus. Okay. Scum Manifesto, literally the Society for Cutting Up Men. It's an actual book. Yes, Scum. Get y'all a copy. This is gonna be on the Angry Black Men's Book Club. This shit. So let me read some of this bullshit to y'all to understand what dumbass women like. What's her name? What's that ugly one? She has the same birthday as me.
Funny you said Ebony Eyes in the chat room just said something real dope. She said some of the black women Dr. Short's talking about are the same ones harassing other black people at work.
That's true. Let me read this.
Ebony.
Every man, deep down, knows he's a worthless piece of shit. Every man, all. That means a man that loves his wife, that doesn't cheat. See, there's a scorched earth of this feminism that says it wants to destroy the family. And the only people that have let this come into their community, into their family system, are sellout pork chop feminist bitches and hoes in our community. Let me keep reading. Overwhelmed by a sense of animalism and deeply ashamed of it, wanting not to express himself but to hide from others, his total physicality, total egocentricity, the hate and contempt he feels for other men, to hide from himself, the hate and contempt he suspects other men feel for him, having a crudely constructed nervous system that is easily upset by the least display of emotional feeling, the male tries to enforce a social code that ensures perfect blandness, unsullied by the slightest trace of feeling or upsetting opinions. He has used terms like copulate, sexual congress, and having relations with. To men, sex relations is redundancy, overlaid with stilted manners that suit on the chimp. Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
This is what these people write. Pussy, despising his highly inadequate self, overcome with intense anxiety for a deep, profound loneliness, when by his empty self, desperate to attach himself to any female, and aims and dim hope of completing himself in the mystical belief that touching gold, he'll turn into gold. The male craves a continuous companionship with women. The company of the lowest female is preferable to his own or that of other men who serve only to remind him of his repulsiveness. But females, unless very young or very sick, must be coerced or bribed into male company. These are the kinds of books that our sisters read at the elite schools. When you go to Harvard, that's why you don't hear me talking about Harvard. Yes, I'm a Harvard graduate. Damn. Yes, I was there. Shh.
Yes, people who graduated Harvard and Howard, because a lot of niggas are small-minded. They'll be like, I thought you said on the last show you went to Howard. Nigga, he went to both, right?
Oh my God. Let me tell you, fatherhood and mental illness. Mother wants what's best for her kids. Daddy only wants what's best for daddy. That is peace and quiet, pandering to his delusion of dignity, respect, a good reflection of himself, status, and the opportunity to control and manipulate, or, if he's enlightened, father to give guidance. His daughter, in addition, he wants sexually. He gives her hand in marriage. The other part is for him. Daddy, unlike mom, can never give in to his kids, as he must at all costs preserve his delusion of decisiveness, forcefulness, always rightness, and strength. Never getting one's way to lead the lack of self-confidence and another's ability to cope in the world, and to a passive acceptance of the status quo. Mother loves her kids, although she sometimes gets angry, but anger blows over quickly, even while it exists. It doesn't preclude love and basic acceptance. Emotionally diseased daddy doesn't love his kids. He approves of them if they're good. That is, if they're nice, respectful, obedient, subservient to his will, quiet, and not given to unseemly displays of temper that would be most upsetting to daddy's easily disturbed male nervous system. In other words, if they're passive vegetables, if they're not good, he doesn't get angry. If he is modern, civilized father, the old-fashioned ranting, roving brute is preferable, as he is so ridiculous he can easily be despised. But rather express disapproval, a state unlike anger that endures and precludes basic acceptance, leaving the kids with the feeling of worthlessness and a lifelong obsession with being approved of. The result is fear of independent thought, as this leads to unconventional, disapproved opinions and ways of life. For the kid,
real quick. Let's break it up. Because you said a whole lot. I want to keep.
I mean, no. We're gonna have independent
thought.
Yeah. So if you've got a father, you can't do anything for yourself. You have to be a slave. What this is saying is, if you have a good father, you're not shit because you take on your father. This is what this is a book. There's no book. The book is called the Scum Manifesto. Now we need to have this. This can be one of our first books because I will be attacking goddamn pork chop feminism. This shit's got to go.
And tell the people what's this book, who gave us this book, what it's about. And you already did it earlier, but I want to make it a little more clear.
Okay.
Who wrote this book and what's their ultimate purpose?
Her name is Valerie Solanas. She is a lesbian feminist with a group of other women that want to destroy the patriarchy. They want to promote pornography, lesbianism, homosexuality, abortion, sexual promiscuity and confusion, and to destroy the patriarchy and the family system by destroying men, preventing men from being good men, so that will free women and children if men are missing from the family. Black men have been driven out of the family by white women and their stupid ass black pork chop lesbian allies who've been involved in social services. This has been the destruction of the black family. Black women who are in alliance with white women who are following principles like this book or the other book I had after Mecca.
In other words, what he's saying is the book that Dr. Short's reading from, this is the manual that the people that we see out there, these BLM lesbos, the LGBTQ people, this is the shit that they read. This is the shit that they're teaching at Harvard.
That's right.
They're teaching at universities worldwide. And I got a degree. All of us that with college degrees, we know, especially if your degrees in the liberal arts, basically all college is it teaches the students how to think like a white woman.
That's right.
So what he's doing is he's reading a book, and Dr. Short has a great way of approaching it. Yes, we have like our Hotep is, we talk about our Black history, our African history. But one thing he's talking about here is reading what they read so we can see how they think. Because one mistake Black people make all the time is assuming everyone thinks and sees the world we do. It's really good to have books like this and read the other side of the fence. Not because you agree with it, but just to get in their head to see what motivates them to do the things that they do.
Listen to this. I'm going to read a little more and I'm going to stop. The effect of fatherhood on males specifically is to make them men, as if it's wrong for men to be men. Listen to that. That is a highly defensive of all impulses to passivity, faggotry, and other desires to be female. So all these women that bitch about DL, your movement has been promoting men to be fags. Then you curse them when they do what you want. Y'all full of shit, liars. Every boy wants to imitate his mother, to be her, to fuse with her, but daddy forbids this. He is the mother. He gets to fuse with her. So he tells the boy, sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, to not be a sissy, to act like a man. The boy, scared shitless and of respecting his father, complies and becomes just like daddy, a model of manhood, the all-American ideal, the well-behaved, heterosexual dullard. In other words, it's bad to be heterosexual to the pork chop feminist and the white radical lesbian feminist. So when you women get AIDS and HIV, your movement brought this shit. Y'all wanted it. How dare you come back and bitch to Black men about how you got infected when you're in a movement that does this shit to us? Let me keep reading. The effect of fatherhood on females is to make them male, dependent, passive, domestic, animalistic, insecure, approval and security seekers, cowardly, humble, respectful of authorities and men. Listen to this. Respectful of authorities and men, meaning that women should be disrespectful towards men, closed and not fully responsive, half-dead, trivial, dull, conventional, flattened out, and thoroughly contemptible. Daddy's girl is always tense and fearful, uncool, unanalytical, lacking objectivity, appraises daddy and thereafter other men against the background of fear, and is not only unable to see the empty shell behind the facade, but accepts the male definition of himself as superior as a female and of herself as an inferior as a male, which thanks to daddy she really is. The increase of fatherhood resulting from the increased and more widespread affluence that fatherhood needs in order to thrive, that has caused a general increase of mindlessness and the decline of women in the United States since the 1920s. Fatherhood destroys women. Imagine that. The close association of affluence with fatherhood has led, for the most part, to only the wrong girls, namely the privileged middle-class girls, getting educated. In effect, the father's in the sum has been to corrode the world with maleness. The male has a negative Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to shit.
And that's it for the people. If y'all want to read more, get the goddamn books.
Or let's have
this
our
book we're saying to read for you to adopt the ideology. Look, adopt whatever ideology you want. But this is about understanding how they think. And I see some comments in the chat room. If you don't like the name of the show, that's your goddamn problem, not mine. Click a different channel, stick a finger up your ass, and move on. I don't give a fuck, Chuck.
This is the father of the sexual revolution. And by the way, William Reich, who started having sex with adults as a child from Germany, right? He supported the promotion of homosexuality, that more people need to be homosexual to be free. This is what's being pushed on us. This is what the Democrats and the Trotskyites and the Frankfurt School and all this nasty stuff that's been pushing. This is what pork chop feminists are doing. So the next time I hear someone beef about men being into porn and men being in the sex work, understand that the women's movement supports this negative activity because it destroys the patriarchy. Now, give me a second. I need to do a quick bathroom break. Keep it talking. I'll be right back, y'all. Give me about a second. A quick bathroom break.
For the people up in the chat room, you know what I mean? If we got people in the chat room trying to distract, talking about something, we ain't even talking about Africa. We got somebody, I ain't gonna say their name. We got somebody in the chat room talking about some Africa. We ain't talking about Africa right now. Sit your ass down, shit. Listen to the goddamn subject at hand. We over here trying to clean up foundational Black American business. It's a lot of shit going on within our community that we need to clean up. That's being perpetuated by the outside white supremacists. And we're trying to go ahead and clean that shit up. And you got people in the chat room trying to segue the conversation to what they want to talk about. That's what happens, unfortunately, when you grew up in a household living with your grandmother and your daddy lived right across the street. These are the things that happen. You do things like that to get control and to get attention when it ain't about you. All right? Stick to the subject. And for those in the chat room, you know, man, I want for the rest of y'all, salute to y'all. I thank y'all for coming up in here, joining the chat room, and talking. Listening to this podcast wants to know where the Dr. Short find that. You got to go ahead and look that up yourself, man. And it's not hard to do. All you got to do is calculate the percent, the imprisonment rate before the crime bill, and calculate how many people were in jail after the crime bill, then you come up with a percentage. That book, Ebony, was saying that fatherhood destroys women. That's the kind of shit these motherfucking feminists that are trying to get us on this LGBTQ shit over the Black family are doing. I'm saying all that to say this. The reason why we have these talks and have these discussions, because I'm all about solutions here. Black people, Black society as a whole, we're not going to get through this by ourselves. We can't get through this fragmented. The reason why the Democrats are pushing that bullshit, Black women is and Black men ain't shit, is because they want to divide us. They don't give a fuck about Black women. We're only going to get through this with the original Holy Trinity. Man, woman, child. All three together. And one thing we be doing, this whole feminism shit, people don't forget all about the kids. You see all these blue chick Twitters, all these bitter chicks that can't stick a needle up their ass with a jackhammer because they're so goddamn stiff and tight. You got these people over here trying to tell us how to live our lives, how to do their lives. But these are people with daddy issues. These are people that when they talking shit about Black society, they talking about their own mama because their own mama wasn't shit. And we listening to them. We got to put these people in their place, and we got to come together with those of us who have a like mind and then strengthen the bond between man and woman and child.
That's
and
right.
For those of you out there who go around, and I see people in the chat room talking about something, some people say he don't like women, the ones talking about women. Look, man, you don't stay married as long as I've been married with the same woman as long as I've been married if you don't understand women, you dig? If you don't love women, you dig? All right? So you talking to somebody who's coming with the love, but we talking to two people who really care about our society, and we going to say some very uncomfortable truth because it's not about the uncomfortableness. It's about fixing this shit. Dr. Short is back.
Yes, I am. And if you notice, my hands are still wet. They sort of dried off. Just because your dick is clean doesn't mean you shouldn't wash your hands or use the restroom. There's so many to get dudes. I don't know what it is. You got this dick pride that you don't wash your hands or go to the restroom. And if you have erectile dysfunction, there's even more reason to wash your hands. Okay, so and then my cat here is selfish. And she's up here trying to steal attention. They're mad that I'm doing. They get mad. The cat begins to disrupt. They're staging a sit-in to crash my taping. Now we need to talk about. Come on, let's talk about this election. Let's talk about this election. Hey, Selfish, how you doing? Yes, my cat's name's Selfish, and
we got about 25, 30 minutes, Dr. Short.
Okay, so let's talk about the election. Ask questions. So let the people from the chat room, y'all can ask questions. Come on.
Oh yeah, ask questions in the chat. Oh, one person Legion of Nick's podcast in the chat room asked, where could he find how the incarceration rate of women going up after Biden got in office?
You know what? I need to. Let me see if I can find that, because I know it happened, and that's. Let me see. But I would challenge people to go look, because you can find this general stuff.
I'm just going out there. I told them to go ahead and look, and then if you can't find it, you got a calculator.
Hold on. No, we can do this. Let me see. Hold on. Wait a minute. When I check off of this, am I still on? Yeah, I am. I'm going to go into look at Selfish messing with this thing. Don't knock my camera over. This cat's getting into it. They begin to not give a damn. This ain't about you. This cat is really black. They only care about themselves.
What I'm gonna do is we'll look it up and I'll put it in the description later on. Mm-hmm. But I want to, before we get out of here, because I said I only got about 24 minutes. I want to get into this election and your thoughts and what you have to say. Mm-hmm. That's what we hear.
Well, Donald Trump won this, and they've worked to steal it. There's a thing called Operation Scorecard. And Operation Scorecard's purpose was to steal the election. If you start looking at how they called California when it had 1% of the vote called, 1%, I mean, but yet for Donald Trump, they didn't call it even 95, 96, they're still holding. They're building up the numbers so they can say that Trump lost. When it came down to Biden, he got the Pacific Coast within minutes of the polls closing. Everywhere that Donald Trump needs to win, they've held up the vote. Everywhere in the country where Donald Trump could win, the count has been delayed. Everywhere that was projected to go for Biden, it was called right away almost. So this is amazing. People don't see that. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. I understand exactly what you're saying, because if you go back to our last video, some of the numbers don't make sense. But at the end of the day, nobody knows any of this shit. The people who really control this country, they're the ones who select whoever the president is. And underneath that, it's a whole lot of sloppy bullshit play that go on. And so what we're doing here, we're giving you our conjecture. We're commenting based off of what the trends that we see. Dr. Short is talking from his personal experience. Dr. Short is talking from the experience of someone who's seen a lot of political bullshit go on from the inside. So understand that his perspective is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to hearing. It's a lot of people who think that same way, but I guarantee you they ain't going to go on CNN and say it, because CNN will cut their motherfucking mic.
Now, I want to give a factoid from the Sentencing Project, sentencingproject.org. For all women, 1 in 56 women are put in jail at some point. For white women, it's like 1 in 111. For Latino women, it's 1 in 45. For black women, it's 1 in 18. And y'all like Biden. Y'all are funny. Y'all really funny. Y'all really funny. Y'all.
I just got the sentencing. I just got the website, and I'm.
Damn it.
Boom.
Yeah. There's a good article. Mass incarceration. Damn it. People are trying to call me and they have to wait. That's why I need another phone, folks. We need resources to do this. Tariq and them got 4 or 5 phones because we have to do this like broke people do. Mass incarceration, stress, and Black infant mortality. So there's a link between Black babies dying and what Biden did. How many dead Black babies are there? I mean, y'all love him. Y'all want to tell me about fucking Central Park? That's 5 people, and Biden resulted in millions of Black people being impacted. Millions. And we love him. I'm talking about having shit for brains. That's amazing. Listen to this. I want you to hear this. Structural racism exposes countless Black women and children to harmful stresses associated with the criminal justice system. The number of incarcerated U.S. women has increased in recent decades from just 26,000 in 1980 to 219,000 in 2017. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the spike in female incarceration has disproportionately affected Black women, especially young Black women. While Black women overall are twice as likely to be in prison as their white counterparts, Black women aged 18 to 19 are 3 times more likely to be in prison than their white counterparts. Are you understanding me? Of course that doesn't matter because I just hate Trump. He says stuff that, and I've been told by my lesbian feminist friends who have they do really good CJs, a cunt job, okay? Their CJs are so good until I believe them, and I'm tired of Black men, okay? And I love this conversation we're having because nobody talks like this. Nobody's willing to take on pork chop feminists and denounce these holes. I'm doing affirmative action for scum. We're doing the counter of it because the only way we're going to get a change is Black men are going to have to punch back against this. Stop pretending just because somebody is female that they can't be called out. We're calling out everybody. I'm looking at this. Oh, wait a minute.
Everybody.
Let me see if I got
the people you love. And oftentimes the bitter pill for people to swallow is oftentimes the people we've been trained to fall in love with, the people that has been put in front of the cameras, those are the exact people that have their own personal self-interest ahead of the interest of the group. Look, Hollywood ain't stupid. They typecast and when I say Hollywood, I'm including the political media because that's just a game too.
Mm-hmm.
They typecast the people that they constantly put in front of you. They're not going to put someone in front of you that's self-assured and they're about themselves, their family, and their culture first if they're Black. Because even though that Black person may go on script for a little bit, at some point he's going to break bad and not be with the bullshit. Even Don Lemon punk ass say something good twice a year. You feel what I'm saying? So if Don Lemon coon asked to say something good twice a year, what would happen if they had a straight about his family, about his business Black man as an anchor on CNN? It would be a problem. So, and the same thing in Hollywood, your favorite rappers, your favorite actors, your favorite athletes. You had LeBron James endorsing Joe Biden, and you had him, you know what I mean? So no matter who you love in media, most of them are bought and paid for by our enemy. So a lot of the shit that Dr. Randy Short says, a lot of shit that you used to see me say, when I talk about these sorry sons of bitches, including Jay-Z, lying, stealing ass, how Jay-Z the best lyricist of all time, and the majority of his lyrics were stolen from somebody else who wrote it first, the same way he said it. Because the mainstream has their people in line, and they push them out whenever they're ready to push their agenda onto us. How did Common go from being one of the greatest conscious rappers of all time to a nigga that bends his ass over and busts it wide open for the Democrats? I don't know. But I do know this, when he was making that good music, they wasn't giving him no shine. Then the minute he started getting the shine was after he went on the Daily Show and Jon Stewart asked him, what do Black people and white people need to do to make this thing happen? Common reply was, well, Black people just know they need to forget about the past and reach their hand out. Those are the kind of niggas that the mainstream give us. So we're not going to get our liberation from them. We're not going to get anything wise from them. They're not going to give us anything that can destroy the system of white supremacy and be good for the greater good of Black people. They only give a fuck about their own pockets.
Now, you know what's interesting, and this is sort of why I used to have this. I lost the storage unit I used to have. I kept all this stuff. This is something why Black folks need their own archives, their own intelligence. Because let me tell you something. If you start looking for stuff on mass incarceration on the web, a lot of it has been cleansed of references to Biden. Google,
Yeah.
they've moved it so you can't do it. And so, no disrespect, I can prove to you that Black incarceration went through the ceiling, but the specific numbers that I'm looking for, it's not there. I used to have it. That's why
Because one thing they do online is they'll still have stuff up, but they'll change it. I found with a lot of Kamala Harris and stuff, they scrub. So what I had to do, I couldn't type in Kamala Harris. I had to type in just the era 2000. The Department of Justice talks about California imprisonment. And then from there, all that shit about Kamala Harris keeping prisoners too long came up. It's like you kind of got to backdoor to the story. And if you're good enough, if you can remember the story, which most of us can't, that's why they do it. Mm-hmm. So oftentimes when you hear Dr. Short or a person like me dropping stuff, we done read the shit. But since we done read it, these motherfuckers done relabeled it. Go back and Professor Black Truth did a video on that about 6 months ago, how they put stories out there and then reworded it and rechanged its title so you can't go back and find it.
And so you can't go back and find it. And we have another problem. With COVID, they've had all the libraries and everything closed in many places, meaning that where I could go to the Library of Congress and go right to certain things, I could go right downtown and print it out and send it home. I have to rely solely on Google, which is working against Trump. They've moved this stuff so you couldn't have it. And you know what's disgusting about it? What do they know? They know that coon-ass Black people don't trust Black folks who have a history of telling the truth, meaning I've got to find a white source to prove to them I'm not a liar. That, in other words, they're giving Massa and the folk that would hang their ass from a tree the benefit of a doubt of a person who tried to keep them from being hung. We've got a fucking stupid problem where we trust everybody that hates our guts and we hate anybody that loves our guts. It's absolutely insane. So here, you're trying to tell people the truth, and they're working against it. We have a society full of secrecy under Obama and other people where you can't get it's denied. We can't find out who killed Kennedy. They've decided, that they're not going to let people know. Here, this is a sentencing project. I got something. Let me see. And I'm wondering if they're going to do that. Sometimes they don't do the breakdown by race. Here, there's racial disparity. Listen to this. Black women are 6 times as likely to be incarcerated as white men and Hispanic men. I'm sorry, Black men. Hold on, Black men. Hold on. Let me get down to women. Oh, yeah, this is the same number again. Wow. This is what Biden did. Felony disfranchisement. I'm looking at places that are really high. And it's interesting. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Connecticut, Virginia, Arizona, Washington State, California.
What website are you on?
I'm on the sentencingproject.org, content uploads, U.S. corrections, PDF. What I can do, let me see if I can download this PDF to my site and send this to you. Are you feeling me?
Yes.
I used to do this. I used to work with the Criminal Justice Policy Reform organization 20 some odd years ago as a volunteer. Some of us have done this stuff. I mean, that was 21 years ago. I was doing what I could do, and one of the first Black members of Students for Sensible Drug Policy. That's in 1999. Okay. And sometimes you move on and do other things, but it doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. It means it's been a long time, but some of us were doing it. I see these people that show up back when Yvette Carnell and these other people, you couldn't get their asses to commit to reparations or anything. They'd see you coming and run. Then all of a sudden there's some money and hustling Black people. Then all of a sudden these people talking stuff. I was talking about decades ago. Some of us, I may have not always been right in my concern for black folks, but there's a consistency. I know certain people that have been doing stuff 30, 40, 50 years. They've been consistent. But you know who it doesn't count to? Dumbass niggas. Any new leader that they put out on CNN. In fact, niggas need to stop watching CNN so much. You understand me? Anybody that they put on CNN has more weight than anyone black that's committed. That's sad. That's sad, but that's how we are. So the people who black, you know what? That's why you have so many traitors in our community. It's easier to be a traitor than to be a true black, because there's almost no incentive. What's in it for you if you speak up for black folks? Oh, damn, you're gonna get rejected. They won't listen to you. They'll listen to anybody. You know, they will. In fact, this is sort of where the best thing that happens to some black folks is for the police to shoot someone in their family. That's the first time they acknowledge it's an oppression. The first time they acknowledge it's not fairness. The first time they say this stuff is actually happening. It's real. Maybe they need to shoot someone in every family so we can figure this out. What does it take for people to wake the hell up? And
I don't know. People like white men say. Somebody in the chat room said, I don't know why people must use profane language to express their thought.
Get the hell off the page. Go away. Go away.
Like God damn it.
Go away. We feel like it. Okay, CNN, they never use profane language, and you listen to them, they're lying to you.
They lie all day.
Okay, sure. So I don't give a damn. Get off. Go away.
Salesmen, politicians, and preachers, they never gonna cuss to you, but they gonna lie and fuck you over more than anybody you ever.
Yeah, so go somewhere. Go somewhere. Disappear. They pay Richard Pryor. They pay mumble rappers. They pay all these people. They're multimillionaires cursing. You start telling people the truth, then all of a sudden, well, you're gonna dictate to me. Who the fuck are you? You don't have any power over me. I say what I want, and I bet you it's one of those pork chop feminists. I'm gonna dictate to you how you're gonna talk. Fuck you. I'm gonna say it the way I want to. If I'm making you unhappy, I'm doing my job. We need to make feminists, pork chop feminists, and coons uncomfortable, make them miserable. Leave us alone. Get out of our communities. Get out of our chat rooms. Go and listen to some Lawrence Welk punk ass white Ku Klux Klansman person that uses dog whistle speech, if that's what you want to do. But right here on Hotep Ish, I say what I feel like saying as often as I feel like saying it. Thank you, brother DeWine, for supporting my First Amendment speech. And by the way, back to the election, Donald Trump isn't a punk. Donald Trump is going to fight back. Donald Trump is going to he's going to fight, and he's not going to be like Al Gore. This is going to be a struggle between the white globalist and the white nationalist. And may the better trans win. So you know what I'm saying?
I think we want to say, look, this is a fight amongst the elite that we're observing play out.
Mm-hmm.
All you people jumping in, digging your heels in, talking about what team you on. Look, they both fight against your dumb ass if you think you on either team. Mm-hmm. What we're seeing is high-level debauchery. We're seeing civil war. We're seeing the highest levels of the world powers coming against each other and fighting how this world, they're fighting over how they're going to oppress us. Trump is a person that has his own ideologies, and then we think that the people on top are unified. There's no unity anywhere.
The only thing they unite on.
Only unity other people possess that we don't have is they fight. They just know when to come together to defeat your ass.
Right.
Then it gets back to fight.
They're unified in their hatred of black people. It keeps them all together.
The hatred of black people, and their only fight is how are they gonna fuck us over? They're not fighting over whether or not, like, niggas are stupid. Niggas is fighting over Ice Cube playing, didn't even read the motherfucker. That's not what they are fighting over. They know they want to fuck us. Their war is how they're gonna fuck us. And you get niggas jumping in, being complicit on both sides with how they're gonna fuck us over. Stop falling for the bullshit, people.
And all the sisters that talk about black men not paying child support and having jobs, y'all just voted for those black men who've been driven out of construction and service jobs to be replaced by illegals and by H-1 visa holding foreigners to displace black men from the tech jobs. Y'all voted for black men's throats to be cut. what the little pork chop feminists, what you don't know is when black men's throats get cut, your throat gets cut too. When black women get dogged, black men get dogged. When black women are poisoned, black babies are poisoned. The only group of people who think that they're separate from their men are misguided, delusional, Jezebel, pork chop, feminist tramps. Trump should have won that election. They've stolen it from him, but he will prevail. If not, I don't know if you heard some Trump people were ready to attack a vote counting office in Philadelphia. This may end up being a shooting war. We need to stay out of it.
Hold on. Before you say another word, I want to say that again. We need to do what?
We need to stay out of their fight. Nobody cares about us. Stop taking sides. Take off the little Confederate uniform that you've got on. Take off the Union uniform that you have on, and just keep your slave clothes on. Get a big thing of sweet iced tea and a big bowl of popcorn, and enjoy and watch white on white crime. Okay, it's just it's time.
That's an important point, people. The longest white society has gone without drawing arms on each other is a period between World War II and now.
Mm-hmm.
And what's been the thing stopping them from fighting each other?
Us.
They unify in their hatred towards us. When black people back out the equation, you got to realize white society's fight with black people is only about 400 years old. But white society's fight with white society
it's forever.
Is about 6,000 years old.
Right. I mean, we're talking about some.
Their own father, their own brother, their own sister is their bigger enemy than us. The only thing that brought they sorry ass, mayonnaise smelling, decrepit ass together is their unity to fight us. If we back off, these motherfuckers are gonna turn the guns back on each other.
And I'm gonna just say, let these people with this Aryan, Darwinian, Flintstone, fratricidal shit. I mean, what can we do? If I love you, you hate me. If I hate you, you outnumber and have more weapons than me. The best thing I can do is mind my business. Pray for peace and know that folk ain't peaceful. I don't want nobody to get hurt, but when is how we felt about anything made a difference? If I love my neighbor still hates me. If I do business with my neighbor, my neighbor won't do business with me. If I can live next to anyone, people are still not willing to live next to me. If I mix with them, they don't acknowledge my connection to them, even if I acknowledge my connection to them. Are you understanding me? We can't win for losing. Something that I learned when I was in Kentucky, I came back yesterday. One of my ancestors, a super white supremacist by the name of John C. Breckinridge, governor of Kentucky. In fact, the creator of the horse breeding empire in Kentucky is one of my ancestors, John C. Breckinridge. And he went from breeding black people to breeding horses.
Oh, wow. I know. Wow.
What can I say? And by the way, John C. Breckinridge was number 2 behind Lincoln in 1860. He almost got it. So can you imagine? I have an ancestor that's a pro-slavery Democrat, and you guys just voted for a pro-slavery Democrat named Joe Biden. So don't criticize me about talking about my broke down white ancestor. His ass lost. Y'all voted for a person who's been locking up more people than John C. Breckinridge locked up. Who won? Damn, Coons. Stay out of this. We can't win. The police that are infiltrated that are white supremacist soldiers are not going to be on your side. You can't win. You can't win. We can't win. The best thing we can do is stay out of this. And by the way,
the best thing we can do. I don't want to go into another subject because I gotta go.
Okay.
Please give them your last thing that you want to say. You can take as much time as you want. But close this out however you want to close this out, Dr. Short.
We're gonna do another show, brother. I want to see.
We're going to be back on next week, people. Dr. Short and I, like I said, this conversation's ongoing. We talking again, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Let's talk it out.
Right.
Maybe Thursday.
Okay.
Maybe from my regular Thursday show next week.
Yeah, that's right. Donald Trump won the election. This is a coup in progress. The reason that there's a coup is because black people, aside from everything else, black folks got on code. The 20 some odd percent of black people that went against the Democrats have thrown the complete American system into confusion. Nothing has happened like this since the 1850s. Since the 1850s, black people have done something by staying home. If you look at it, what happened last week in Ivory Coast, 95% of the Ivorians stayed home because of their racist, self-hating President Ouattara, who has a dirty, whorish Jewish wife who's been passed around like lottery tickets in a crack house. They stayed home, and so the elections are all in doubt. The independent black media and other sources, in spite of being blocked, shadow banned, have finally been able to reach a critical mass of black folks, which is about 25% of black people are on code. One out of 4 black people get it. That's too many. And we've thrown the whole system in an uproar, which is why you do not hear CNN or anybody really talking about black voters. Again, they're talking about Hispanic voters, but what I want to remind you, in 2008, for every Latino that voted, 3 or 4 black Americans voted. We are the most important voting bloc outside of white Americans, and something else that's playing out that folks can't deal with. The population of blacks in the state of Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. The black population in this country is growing in spite of the fact that you sisters kill 60% of the babies that you're conceiving. The black population is growing, and there's greater desperation for both the Democrats and the Republicans in the gentleman's agreement of how to keep us disfranchised. It's no longer working because what they've done by putting pressure on black communities on the Pacific coast, these blacks moving from California and being driven out of New York City by gentrification and unfair housing prices have put larger and larger numbers of blacks in the traditional 13 states of the Confederacy that's throwing us back into an era that's very reminiscent of Reconstruction, where you have huge numbers of blacks in states where they can literally rock the whole political system for a state, which is why you have a black person that made a decent run in South Carolina, a black person that's in a runoff in Georgia. You haven't had this stuff happen since the Reconstruction. Certain black people, although it's in the Democratic Party, what their fear is for blacks to form their own party. If blacks pull out of the Democratic Party, there'll only be one viable party, which is dying, the Republican Party. African American people, if they pull out of the Democratic Party, we will have a one-party system because wherever black people pull away from, there will be a white party, which will be the Republican Party, and see the Latinos and all these other people. Maybe they'll stay Democrats, but if you don't have blacks who are in all the key swing states, literally black folks will be in the position of the Parti Québécois. Okay, this is a party of French-speaking Canadians where the way that Canada works, and this is what black people haven't done here, is form their own ethnic party, come up with a black agenda more radical than Ice Cube could ever think of, and put those demands before both national parties. That would mean every time there's an election, either the president or the vice president is black, and the black agenda cannot be ignored like what happens in Canada. The Canadian French-speaking people, I used to meet them at Howard University. They came and studied Black studies, Black American history, took it back to Canada, and raised themselves from being the outcast in Canada to being a powerful force. We have the capacity, and everyone is afraid of it. And instead of what we need to do is make people be more afraid of us instead of trying to be their friends. If they're determined to hate you, they won't let you fit in, won't work with you, then have your own. I don't hate nobody. I'll tell anybody. I've met white relatives. Our relationships are very cordial. I don't hate people based on what they look like. But I got to eat. I got to live now. I need to have money to buy toilet paper to wipe my ass and pay my phone bill and so forth. All of us do. We got to get our reparations. We have to have our own party. And I would say to us, everybody, buy land, Move to the South, learn how to shoot a gun, learn how to farm, stand up. Stand up and don't ever talk about people of color. Forget intersectionality except for when you're humping on someone that's the same race as you. That's the only intersectionality I care about. And they need to be of the opposite sex, please. All right. That's what we need. We need genuine Black grassroots unity now, right now, immediately. And trust me, if only 10% of Black people stuck together, like the song says, walk together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting and the promised land of Black freedom, unity, justice, and equality. Walk together. Walk with like-minded Black folks. The scriptures say, how can two walk unless they agree? Stop being with folks. The only thing that wants to be united with shit is a fly. And even a fly can put maggots in the shit and reproduce its own species. We get nothing from being unified with things that destroy us. Drugs, illegals, feminism, LGBTQ. Separate yourselves. Get separate from coons. Separate from the boule. Separate from fake ass church denominations. Fake ass foreign religions like the Arab religion, where folks start talking all this bullshit, got all these names. You don't want any religion that belongs to your slaver, whether he's Arab or European or Hindu. It's time for us to come into our own. It's past time. And in the words of the song, you better get ready. Time is winding up. I'm going to stop there, brother.
I appreciate that, Dr. Short. We've had Dr. Randy Short here. He's given us 2 hours and 45 minutes of hot motherfucking fire. And we're going to be back at you next week. Next week, I have an interview with Dr. Bondley next Saturday. Actually, next Thursday, I'm going to interview my lawyer, Dr. Jai Personland, getting screwed over by the California legal system. He's going to tell our story. We're going to have Dr. Short back next week because there's a lot going on right now.
And I got a brother out of Boston who got fired for, his name is Octavian. He looks like he's going to prevail against the racist Boston Fire Department. That's a hell of a story. I need your help. I also need your help. Hey, y'all, we need to fight these people trying to kill our children with vaccinations. By the way, Joe Biden supports Black children being experimented on. Come on, y'all. Sisters, come to yourselves.
Come on. And so for those of y'all listening, I want to thank y'all for joining the chat room. I want to thank y'all for listening because we are here at Hotep Ish Intelligent Ish Talk. Because we like to spread the information. This place is the grapevine. Black people used to get our information through the grapevine. Marvin Gaye and Gladys Knight told you. I heard it through the grapevine. They had to hear it through the grapevine because the white folks ain't gonna put our shit on the main line. So we are here. We are the grapevine here at Hotep Ish. And I want you guys to know my relationship courses are coming up soon. So get ready. Email me, hotepish@gmail.com. For your relationship portions, for your topics and subjects that we're going to address when it comes to relationships between the Black family, black man, woman, and child. Email me and holler at me when it comes to and ask me those type of questions. So when we do present the material here on the show, we can go ahead and answer the questions that you want answered. Remember this. I want to thank again Dr. Randy Short. Y'all, I have his YouTube in the description box. Click on the link in the description box. Please subscribe to his channel. Like I said, email me your questions. And remember this, folks. Check us out on Craig Facts Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll be back there. We didn't do Craig Facts yesterday because Craig had a lot of shit to do. But we're going to do it this coming Tuesday and Thursday. Check it out. Remember this, like we always say before we end every episode, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up game. You got to be willing for the game. Don't be one of the people up in the chat room trying to make your own subject. Sit your ass down and listen to what we talking about. If you want your own subject, you want your things talked about, create a channel and talk about it. I was the kind of motherfucker that got tired of people talking about shit I wasn't concerned about, so I created a vehicle to talk about the shit that I'm concerned about. And if what we saying here don't work with you, if it don't jive with you, cool, I ain't tripping. I don't want nobody here that don't want to be here. I don't want nobody here that think we lying and full of shit. I don't want nobody here that think that we just over here trying to run our mouth and think we know it all. We don't know it all, but the little we do know, we want to spread it to those, and each one teach one.
Each one
teach one. Thank you again, Dr. Randy.
You're welcome.
Y'all see his YouTube. Subscribe to that motherfucker.
I'm busy working, man. I have a second. What's this? Yeah. Okay, y'all. I'm just calling different people, y'all. Join the channel. I've not asked people to join the channel, but I need to get a few thousand people. Well, not a few thousand. If I can get a good 1,000 people on my YouTube channel, then I can just go live whenever we want to talk. There are different causes and things like that I want to get people to come on. Looks like I'm not going to get Mr. Pinkney. I'm going to hang up.
I'm very sorry.
I'm going to hang up. That's Brother Larry Pinkney, the Black Panther and human rights activist and all this. Let me see who the hell else called me. Who is Janelle Myers? Who the hell is this? I don't know who this person is. I'm going to see. Let me see.
Hello.
Yeah, Janelle Myers. I just got a call from you. This may have been
Is this Randy?
Yeah, this is Randy. What's going on?
Wow. Okay. Can I call you right back? I'm on another line.
I'm doing.
You're gonna be
I'm doing
available in the next.
No,
huh?
I'm doing broadcasts. What did you call me about? Because I'm online doing stuff. I'm gonna be busy for the next hour. So, what's up?
I just wanted to reach out to you. Do you remember me?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do is email me because I'm gonna be on here. If there's an issue, you have my email. I'm gonna send it to you so you have it. Because
you just text it to me. Just text it to me and
I just sent it to you because we're online, talked about all this stuff going on. And I got a call, but a bunch of other people just were calling. But yeah, be in touch with me, sister. We do need to talk. And we
absolutely.
Okay. You be blessed.
I want to share with you what I'm doing.
Okay.
Because I know you're doing a lot.
Right. I'm doing what little I can.
And maybe we can talk in the next couple of days, okay?
Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
See you then. All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. That call was taken care of. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to do this stuff as I'm doing it. Let me see. That's Latoya. Okay, hold on one second. Let me see who else called. That's one. That's that. Who else is calling me? Okay, let me call McKinley and see what's going on here. Okay, I'm just talking to people all over the country, y'all. Paul McKinley is a big time activist. Hey, McKinley.
What up, Randy?
Hey, man, I'm on my channel right now, and I'm just talking to people. So, you called me. I was doing a broadcast with the brother in Los Angeles. So I'm talking to people over my stream. And by the way, Brother Paul, I need you to get people to circulate my YouTube channel, because if I can get 1,000 people, I can go live whenever I want. I have just 600 and some. I need about 400 more people to put Randy Short and make Randy Short a YouTube where I can do this. You got to have 1,000 people. That's how they rigged it. So I need 1,000 people so I can actually make my channel more effective. I have
what you do, Randy, on Messenger. You write down something on Messenger saying that everybody is going to Randy Short, so that we can get the word out about all the black folks that voted for Trump and the ones that refused to vote anyway. And you send that to me by Messenger, and I'll post it, or text it to me. If you text it to me, I'll post it.
I'll do both, and I'll send it to Mark as well. We only need I only need, let me see, I had a couple people add. I have 678 subscribers. I need, now just added one. And pretty soon I have 80. I need 320 people to join my YouTube so I can do 1,000, so I can go live. Then I can do this as often as I want. I need people to do that for me. I haven't asked the audience, but please circulate this.
Brand, you said what you need.
Sure.
All you gotta do is we're gonna market this.
Okay, good.
Like
Now, mind you, I'm talking to a broadcast audience too, Paul. So it's not just you. I'm saying this to the 45 people on here. Each of you 45 people that are watching this could circulate my YouTube page, Randy Short, to 10 people. You could do it over Facebook Messenger, however you want to do it, Instagram, tell people to check me out. If all of y'all, 45 of you send it to 10 different people or 20, that would be, 900 people. I only need a few of them. I mean, of course, if they share it to other people, then boom, I'd have my 1,000. I'm hoping to have 1,000 people by, God willing. Let's see if we can do this in a week. I'm not looking for 100,000, 500,000, nothing crazy like that. But I need a good 400 more people to come in, join me so I can do what I'm doing. That would be much appreciated. I need that so much. So we can talk about books, so we can talk about Trump, so we can fight pork chop feminism, till we can fight the toxic testosterone pimp, bitch, nigger, brother fucker thing that we have a big problem. Come on, y'all, help me out. Now, chat room. Now,
okay.
Paul, what did you call me on? What's going on with you? Because everybody's listening unless you got it. This is some confidential stuff.
Well, first of all, let's just get on top of what you talk about. And when you got a break, we can come in, you can chop it up. So I need you to send me the information, the website, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Send it to me, and I'm gonna send it to everybody. That's what needs to be done.
Okay.
We need to market this right now. Everybody try to get 20 people. You know, everybody got 500 or 600 people.
Right.
We just need 20. So send it to me and say I need 20 people to join this. And Brandy, I need you to be talking about the so Biden got 71% of the black folk in urban areas. And so that means that a third of black folks has ran off the plantation.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? A third of the black folks have ran off the plantation. And I need you to try to pull all the stacks and, and have the information and say, that's what you're going to talk about.
Right.
Because that's what everybody wants to know. What is this all about?
Well, this is a black revolution against the Boule and the Democrats.
A revolt.
Yes. I'm going to put out something right away as soon as I'm through with this. So people here following me on the live StreamYard, if you got questions, if you want to ask. Now, this is Paul McKinley. He is a major black grassroots leader up in Chicago. His group is called Voice of the Ex-Offenders. And I told y'all, I always try to help out people. I don't care if you're broke. I care about if you're committed to the black community. You don't have to be a rich black person that went to a big ass school, because a lot of them are crazy as hell. I don't think I have any really close friends that I went to school with because they're so full of shit. You know, I felt like a maggot half the time being around them. And, you know, I'm certain that maggots eat shit, but you know what? They like eating fruit and meat and better stuff than doo-doo. They eat shit because it's there, right? And that's sort of how it goes. Anyway, I just want to say this to y'all, because I'm going to stop in a second. Nobody's asking me questions in the room. There are 45 people, no questions. If y'all think that Joe Biden won this election, you also think that the Little Mermaid wants to be fucked by King Kong. Okay, this is just, it didn't happen. And he just told you 29% of black people went against Biden in urban areas. Now, God knows what they did in rural areas. The black community is in rebellion against a vote for nothing, just vote bullshit of the Democrats. We want our tangibles. We want reparations. We want cops punished that kill us. We want real leadership. Okay. And we need it. Now, as I wind down, if y'all want to reach out to me, I'm going to put up here so y'all know. How do you help me? You can join my channel. You can like the video. You can tell people about it. I'm going to put up my PayPal, which is my email. It's also a good way to contact me. I've got a Patreon account. If you just look for Randy Short, you will find me. I put my name on everything, so I'm not hiding from nobody. I'm Randy Short and Randy L. Short in Facebook. I am Randy Short 1965 in Instagram. Okay. I have 2 Cash Apps. You can do whichever one turns you on. And it doesn't have to be much. The main thing is we've got to be in business, y'all. Trust me, when you tell the truth like I do, they mess with your money. Dr. Randy Short, and or you can do it like this. You can do Dr. Randy L. Short. But actually, let me just leave one. I'm not greedy. I'll just leave one up there. You can Cash App me. You can do that. And by the way, I'm thankful. The only person I've been mad at was someone that gave me $3 that I was doing all sorts of stuff for. That pissed me off. You're a stranger. You send me a buck. God bless you. I'm a person that's hustled for your ass, and you sent me 3. Please disappear. Don't insult me. But anybody that wants to bless my Patreon is Dr. Randy Short 1965. That's Patreon. I've never had any Patreon contributions. It'd be nice to get $1 in my Patreon just to have that. Be the first person to give me a buck. And I want to blow up this channel. We're going to need channels like mine to put out information. This whole election is bogus. Everything about it's a fraud. Now, in as much as I've asked people if they have any questions, I'm going to stop here, but we're going to have a book club. I'm looking forward. I need to tell you, one of the reasons I'm going to be begging people, I have an artist, finally, he's asking for $250 to put my Coon Buster logo together. I have to pay that. And, you know, my worker welfare ran out, and I think they took my stamps too. The last time I went, I didn't get nothing. That was a trip because that's eating good off of stamps. It was cool. Man, I wish I'd had those years ago. Anyway, look, hook me up. Peace. Stand up. Stay out of this. Cool it. In the words of Brother Malcolm, cool it. Unify with like-minded Black people. Unify with Black business. Unify with Black gun clubs. Unify with savings clubs, farming clubs, people that are doing susu rings. Unify with people that want to move ahead. 1/3 of us want to be free. Find that third and leave the other 2/3 alone. Let them figure out the hard way. And in fact, most niggers are just one police beating away from finding out that they're Black. With that, I want to say, Coon Busters and all my friends and supporters, God bless you. Let's stick together. Until I see you again, I'm going to end the broadcast. Oh, thank you, Brother Devin. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for adding. I think if you did that, Brother Devin, I'm at 680. I need 320 more people. Brother Devin, everybody, send my YouTube channel around. Yes, I'm talking some Black conservative stuff, but it's Black nationalist conservative. There's a difference. I'm not anti-Black people. I'm not against folk getting Section 8. I'm not against Black folks getting SNAP. In fact, I've been enjoying it. I've been doing all this baking because I had all the money to buy the extracts and shit. I had a coconut pie today. Yes, I used stamps to buy it. It was so good. Okay. Frankly, the country throws half their food away. They should just give us all some stamps. Shit. Please join. And I had the right to get stamps for all y'all. Y'all don't need no government. That's bullshit. Billionaires need the government. They need people to go and kill people in other countries so they can hold stuff that they didn't pay for. So if I got a little bit of food, who gives a damn? Who gives a damn, really? The same government where they spy on people and mess with my phone and shit. If I get some biscuits and shit out of it, what do you think I care? All right. Since nobody has any questions, I hope y'all circulate this because we're going to start pushing the envelope. Donald Trump won. Joe Biden lost. Kamala's a hoe and she hates Black people. And y'all going to pay for all the tricks she did for Willie Brown if they win. I'm going to check out here. Love everybody. God bless you. Good night. And yes, I'm a cussing Christian. There are worse things to be.